Our video tutorial is about rules for finding the derivatives of a function. Let us apply the rules for finding the derivative of these functions. For example, y equals x squared minus x plus 1. Our first rule is the derivative of a constant because we have here 1 as a constant. And next is the power rule. The derivative of x to the power of n is equal to n times x to the power of n minus 1. So, derivative of y with respect to x is equal to the exponent 2 times x to the power of 2 minus 1 minus 1 times x to the power of 1 minus 1 plus derivative of 1 which is constant is 0. Simplify the exponent and x to the 0 is equal to 1 and omit the exponent if it is equal to 1. So our derivative is simply dy dx equals 2x minus 1. Next, find the derivative of y equals cube root of x. We can change cube root of x into x to the power of 1/3. And this is the power rule. Apply the power rule. So its derivative dy dx is exponent 1/3 x to the power of 1/3 minus 1 according to the rule. We can change negative 1 into negative 3 over 3 and combine this fraction. So it is negative 2/3. Change negative exponent to positive exponent by bringing it down, and we can express this in radical form. So dy dx is equal to 1 over 3 times cube root of x squared. Next, dy dx is equal to exponent 3 times 5x to the power of 3 minus 1 minus 5 times 3 x to the power of 5 minus 1, then simplify the exponent, then the derivative dy dx is equal to 15x squared as a common factor times this quantity inside the parentheses. So that is our final answer. Next, find dy dx of this product. We have the product rule, f of x of ux times b of x. So first and second factor, its derivative is equal to the first factor times derivative of the second factor plus the second factor times derivative of the first factor. So our derivative of y with respect to x is the first factor to x minus 1 times the derivative of 2x plus 5, which is 1 times 2 to the power x to the power of 1 minus 1 is 0. Derivative of 5 is 0 plus second factor times derivative of 3x minus 1, which is 3x to the power of 0 because 1 minus 1 is 0. All x to the 0 is equal to 1. So distribute 2 and 3 in each of the term inside the parentheses. So distribute and combine similar terms. So the derivative of y with respect to x is equal to 12x plus 13. Next, this is again a product rule. So let's go over with the product rule. The first factor times derivative of the second factor plus second factor times derivative of the first. So dy dx is equal to the first factor times derivative of x squared plus 3. So 2x to the power of 2 minus 1 plus x squared plus 3 times derivative of this factor. 2 times 2 is 4 x to the power of 2 minus 1. Simplify exponent. So distribute 2x in its term and 4x in each of the term inside the parentheses. After that, combine similar terms. So our final answer is dy dx is equal to 8x cubed plus 16x. Next, find the derivative of y equals x squared times quantity x cubed minus 1. So this is again product rule. So its derivative dy dx is equal to the first factor times derivative of 3x x cubed minus 1. So this is 3 times x to the power of 3 minus 1 plus this factor times derivative of x squared is 2x to the power of 2 minus 1. Simplify the exponent and distribute or multiply in each of the term inside the parentheses. Then combine term, so our derivative of y with respect to x is 5x to the fourth minus 2x. Next, find the derivative of y equals quantity 2x plus 3 raised to the second power. This is power rule, and with the base which is function, so that we will make use of the chain rule. So g of h of x, so our g of x is x square, or x represents this 2x plus 3 represent the x, the base, and our h of x is the base 2x plus 3. So derivative of the h of x is 2. So in general, derivative of y with respect to x is equal to exponent 2 times the base to the power of 2 minus 1 times the derivative of 2x plus 3, which is 2. Simplify the exponent and distribute, multiply 2. So dy dx, derivative of y with respect to x is equal to 4 times quantity 2x plus 3. Next, or we can distribute 4 in each of the terms, so our final answer derivative of y with respect to x is 8x plus 12. Next, find the derivative of f of x equals 1 over 2x plus 1. So this is the quotient rule in our derivative rule. So the numerator is ux and denominator is b of x. Its derivative of this function is equal to the denominator times the derivative of numerator minus numerator times derivative of denominator all over the square of the denominator. So f prime of x is equal to denominator times derivative of 1, which is 0, minus numerator 1 times derivative of denominator, which is 2, all over the square of the denominator. Then simplify. This is 0. 1 times 2 is negative 2. So this is our final answer, the derivative of f prime of x. Next, f of x equals to x plus 5 all over 3x minus 2. So this is quotient rule. So derivative of f of x or f prime of x is denominator times derivative of numerator. Derivative of numerator is 2 minus numerator times derivative of denominator. Derivative of 3x minus 2 is, this is 1 times 3, or 3. Distribute 2 in each of the term and also 3 in each of the term, taking note of the minus sign in removing parentheses. So cancel out opposite signs and combine similar terms. So this is our derivative of f of x or f prime of x equals negative 19 all over the square of the denominator 3x minus 2. Next, quotient again. So follow the quotient rule. The derivative of f of x or f prime of x is equal to denominator times derivative of numerator, which is 2x, minus numerator times derivative of denominator. Its derivative is 2x also. Distribute 2x in each of the term. Cancel out if there are opposite signs and combine similar terms. So this is the derivative f prime of x equals negative 4x over the square of the denominator x square minus 1. Next, f of x equals quantity x plus 1 over x square. We can change 1 over x as x to the power of negative 1. So this is power rule again, and since the base is a function, we make use of the chain rule. So f prime of x, or rather h of x, here is x plus x to the power of negative 1. Its derivative, it's the derivative of f of x, f prime of x, is equal to exponent 2 times the base to the power of 2 minus 1 times the derivative of the base by the chain rule. So, derivative of the base, derivative of x is 1. Derivative of x to the power negative 1 is negative 1 times x to the power of negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So, simplify this one and change negative exponent to positive exponent. We can just drop out 1 and multiply these two quantities and cancel out opposite signs. So, in simplest form, our final answer, a prime of x is equal to 2 times quantity x minus 1 over x cubed. Next, f of x equals cube root of 9x squared plus 4. So we can change this radical expression into exponential form. So our exponent is 1/3. So by the power rule and chain rule, okay, the exponent 1/3 times the base, the power of 1/3 minus 1 times the derivative of the base. Its derivative is 9 times 2 or 18x. Then simplify the exponent or cancel out common factors. This is 6 and work on the exponent. Negative 1 is negative 3 over 3 and this is 6x times 1 is 6x. The exponent this time it becomes negative 2/3 and we can change exponential to radical form or change first negative exponent to positive exponent, or we can change exponential form to radical form. So our final answer is a prime of x equals 6x over cube root of the square of 9x squared plus 4. That's enough.